Welcome back. In today's episode, we talk about the lessons that you can learn for your business in motocross. What does motocross have to do with business? Stay tuned.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performance Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategy, the technology, and the psychology peak performers use in order to get more done and execute at the highest level. If you know what to do but struggle with getting it all done, or simply want to raise your game to the next level, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. For those of you that may not be familiar with motocross, motocross is a motorcycle that is used in racing. It's an off-road bike that has very high suspension, and they go around a dirt track through jumps and whoops and turns and obstacles. Very interesting sport. If you've never seen motocross, Google it, look at it on YouTube. 2 weekends ago, I went out to a facility in East Georgia, that has 8,000 acres, has several different tracks, and has about 7,000 acres of trails that you can do motocross on. And I went out and had an absolutely amazing day. Great sport, great exercise, great adrenaline rush. But that's not what you're interested in. How can you learn some lessons from motocross and how do they apply to business? Well, here it is. First of all, you must have the right equipment. If you're not dressed properly for motocross, you could get seriously hurt. You've got boots that have steel toes in them. You've got boots they go all the way up to your knees, basically. The equipment has padding all over it. You've got a helmet on. You've got goggles on. You've got protection on your chest, literally a plastic cage that goes around your chest in case you fall off or you hit something. So you got to have the right equipment. Second, you've got to go over the bike. You've got to check your bike, just like in your business, right? You've got to make sure that you're looking at that vehicle to make sure that it's safe. And there's all kinds of safety checks that you need to do on that bike. Then you've got to make sure, do you have gas? Do you have energy in that bike to move it? In your business, do you have money in the account? The gas that makes that engine run. Then you've got to also make sure that you're able to stop. Are you able to slow down? Very important. Before you go anywhere, you want to know where you're going. You just don't want to head off into the woods and have no idea where you're headed. You might get lost. Well, in business, you've got to have a direction. You have to have a vision. You have to understand where you're going, and your team has to understand where you're going. Does the size of the bike affect things? Absolutely. Is it possible to get one that has too much power, too big, too tall, and doesn't fit you right? Is it possible to be in a business that you don't have the right skills to run? Yes, absolutely. You must be in control of that bike, and you must be in control of that business. These motocross bikes, you can get up to 90 miles an hour. I mean, you can fly on these things. And in business, is it possible to go really, really fast and then end up hitting a brick wall, getting thrown from your business, thrown from the bike? Yes, you've got to be careful, and you've got to be able to handle the speed. You've got to know the road ahead. If you don't know where you're going, you just might end up somewhere that's extremely dangerous, lost out in the middle of nowhere. You've got to know. You've got to have a map. If you haven't heard the episodes on the Ultimate Success Map, go back to the podcast and listen to those. You must have a map. You must know the road ahead. You know, it's interesting on the motorcycle. You have to be looking at the path, the road, the track, 40, 50 yards ahead of you. You're not looking below you. What you're looking for is which way is the trail going? Which way is the track going? Where are the ruts? Are there any rocks in the way? You're always scanning out in the future because you're ending up at that place very quickly, and you can't be looking down. You have to be looking ahead. What happens when you come up to a jump on the motocross track? What happens to a lot of people in business, right? They come up to an obstacle, and what do? They let off the gas. Ooh, I don't know what's happening. I don't know where it is. I'm afraid to fly through the air. If you do that on a motorcycle, on a motocross track, you will kill yourself. When you come up to a track, what you have to do is the opposite. You give it gas. You want to fly through the air to the next piece of dirt or the next mound. You've got to get that front wheel off the ground. You've got to take the weight off of it. You don't want to land on the front tire. Trust me. There's plenty of YouTube videos, just a YouTube video of motocross landing on the front tire. It is not a good thing to do. You want to give it gas. You want to hit that jump. You want to get the weight off that front tire, and you want to land in the air on your back tire. You've got to know when to rest. In motocross, if you're out there and you're tired, you start making mistakes. You've got to take breaks. Just like in business, you've got to know when to rest. You've got to know when to get your rest. You're not going to be at your best unless you have your rest and you're ready and you have the energy to attack it. You've got to be in the right position at the right time, meaning that on the bike, you've got to be positioned that if you're going into a curve, you've got to be in the right position on the seat. You've got to be in the right position on the pegs. You've got to have your balance correct. You've got to be nimble. Right? Just in business, you've got to be very centered. You've got to be in a position where you can make changes quickly. If not, well, the bike, the obstacles, life, your business, your prospects, your clients, they just might send a curveball your way and flip you off the bike or flip you out of your business. Now, on the motocross bike, do you sit on the seat or do you stand? You stand. I don't even know why they have a seat, quite frankly. You sit in a ready and prone position, knees bent, head up, and you're almost like a tackle in football. You're ready to take on whatever comes your way. You're charging in that position where you can very quickly maneuver. You've got to be aware of your surroundings. I'm going down this trail. I was probably doing about 45 miles an hour, and out of a right-hand side of my helmet, this thing darted right out in front of me. I missed it by about 10 feet. It was a deer. It was a deer running through the woods. Had that deer hit me, I would have been going to the hospital, period. Well, first of all, I would have hurt just getting hit by the deer, but doing 40 miles an hour and getting hit, I would have hit a tree. I would have hit a rock. I mean, it would have been a bad, bad day. And in business, we have things coming at us all the time. We've got to have our head up, and we've got to be looking to the right. We've got to be looking to the left, and we've got to see what's coming our way. There are things out there trying to kill us. Stay alert. Besides protecting yourself, on the bike, there's certain things you've got to protect. And the biggest thing you have to protect on a motocross bike is the right-hand side handle/brake. Okay? The clutch is on your left hand. The brake is on your right hand. If you squeeze that right hand, that brake on the right hand, that's your front brake. Now, as growing up as kids, you know what happened when you hit the front brake on a bike too fast? Well, you go head over heels, right? Same thing on a motocross bike. And what happens, though, in motocross is you can hit another rider with that brake, or you can hit a tree or a bush. You've got to protect that right brake. If that gets pulled at the wrong time by hitting something by mistake, getting tangled up in some sort of branch or twine or twig, whatever is in the way, it will lock up the front wheel. You'll go head over heels, and you'll be going to the hospital. In business, there are things in your business. There are exposures. There are weak spots. There are things that you got to take care of. You got to make sure they're well protected. Your cash, that's got to be protected. Employee dishonesty, employee theft, major issue in every business. I've got a client in the jewelry business. The amount of theft and the things that he has to do to protect himself is unbelievable. It's real easy walking out the door with a diamond stuck in your pocket. Protect yourself. The last thing, motocross bikes are either 4 or 5 gears, right? First gear, second gear, third gear. Well, what happens is a lot of beginners go out there and they're in first gear and they're not going anywhere, right? They're putting on all the gas, but they're in the wrong gear. You've got to work through the gears. You've got to get to second gear, to third gear, fourth gear, and you'll go faster and faster. In your business, are you just sitting there just spinning in first gear? Or have you figured out how to leverage technology? Have you figured out how to utilize your team and how to start using those higher gears and to get it into overdrive where there's very little effort or minimal effort, but the results are multiplied because of the gearing effect? So question of the day, where in your business haven't you been checking it out? You haven't taken the time each day to make sure that it's ready for business. Is your cash situation where it needs to be? Am I staying nimble? Am I staying positioned? Am I ready for the things that are coming at me? Am I keeping my eyes open? Am I looking at the road ahead? Do I know the obstacles that are coming at me? Am I running too fast? Can I control this thing? Where are you exposed in your business? What needs to be shored up? Are you sitting back and just waiting for things to happen? Or are you standing up on the pegs? Are you ready for what's coming at you? Are you running towards your obstacles? Or are you just letting them come to you? Move forward. Hopefully you found this podcast helpful today. I'd like to invite you to head over to Facebook. You can go to Peak Performance Nation. It's a private Facebook group where we have peak performers that have all kinds of incredible resources and expertise and suggestions on how to help you run your business. Until next time, have an absolutely amazing day. Thank you so much for listening today. I really do appreciate your time, and I hope you found today's show valuable. If you would like to receive these shows automatically to your phone or to your computer, simply go to iTunes and subscribe. After listening to several of the shows, if you're so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating, as this helps us reach additional people and spread the message. If you're truly committed to taking your life to the next level and doing whatever it takes to become a peak performer, but something's holding you back, something is blocking your way, and you just can't seem to figure out what it is, send me an email to info@thorconklin.com, and I'd be more than happy to get on the phone with you. We'll schedule a 15-minute discovery call. No obligation, no cost. I absolutely love to hear from the listeners, and if there's something I can do to help, I'd be more than happy to do that. Also, if you found something of great interest in today's show and you want to share that with your friends and family, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode, hit the share button, and share it on your page. You can follow me at Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. We're constantly adding new free resources, discussing additional tricks, tips, tools, and strategies on how to be a peak performer. Remember, I try to keep these episodes short so you can listen to them during dot time, doing other things, commuting, driving, walking, working out. Decide to be a peak performer in all that you do. And until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.